for us, China, we cover only safety health environment. Macam contoh kami ada akta untuk membuat kawasan. Macam contoh bagian construction dia kena ada regulation safety ni macam tu. Okay. So tak mesti construction dia ada macam lift regulation, tapi belum dia macam-macam lah lift construction environment. For us in China, IT cybersecurity ni just to add on je.
I see.
So I want to bring China ni cybersecurity punya framework lebih kokoh lagi lah.
Okay. So you are talking about frameworks, right? Okay. Then I know focus then.
Yes. And also for me, I want to learn more based on macam how to convince the management lah. Maybe from the in terms of cybersecurity. Okay. Maybe you can copy from your experience.
Actually, I read from your PTQ. You mentioned about competency level. So basically, apa yang saya buat hari ini, saya akan fokus a little bit on C-level, how to convince them. Not really how to convince lah. What is it for them? What is it for them? So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Can start now. You prefer speak in Malay atau English? Both atau mix?
Mix pun boleh.
Mix pun boleh. So I think the way you cakap macam orang Malaysia.
Kerja dekat AP.
I see. That's why you bring this problem.
Boleh lah sikit-sikit.
Sebab most of my Brunei dia participant mainly dia cakap yo Brunei lah.
Macam sabar sikit
Yeah. Okay, so welcome to Cybersecurity Essential Workshop to the course introduction. Basically, this course is for 5 days. 5 days, designed for C-level and non-technical. Kita tak akan pergi too deep inside technical detail of security. Kita fokus navigating more on modern cyber threats as well as building secure organization. Jadi, this course will include practical activities, case studies, and advanced discussion tailored to leadership roles. That's most important. So the objective is actually for us to understand cybersecurity as a strategic business risk, rather than just a requirement, and learn to identify, assess, and prioritize cyber risks. The third one is actually we build strategies, focus on incidents, response plan, and cybersecurity roadmaps. Apply governance framework to manage the cybersecurity risks effectively. Promote a culture cybersecurity awareness as well as accountability in the organization. That's a little bit about the course introduction. This is a little bit about myself. At this moment, I'm associate partner for Cognitus Consulting LLC. Cognitus Consulting focus more on our core business is SAP. We implement SAP all over the world. But I'm heading the Malaysia office, leading the Malaysia office, and then at the same time, I teach. I've been teaching with IMTC since 2014. There's a lot more. We do GRC as well. We do ESG and many more. Alright. You know what is GRC, right? Governance, risk, compliance. Right. We also do trainings in the Gulf regions, Europe, and America as well. Right. So that's about me. A little bit. Can you introduce yourself formally again?
Okay, alright. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Muhammad Basri Shazwi bin Masri. I'm IT Officer 2. Basically, I'm the IT head unit of the China. So, I think thank you for IMTC also to accept me, even though it's last minute registration. So, actually, it's also steered from our director and also our board to increase the cybersecurity resilience in the China as a whole. So I think these courses I believe it is beneficial to us as well, and also to my career goal and to my career goal as well. But nevertheless, I'm here to learn, and also even though I have a little bit of experience, but I'm here to learn, I believe from academic and expertise in the cybersecurity. Not just maybe cybersecurity, maybe wish to learn as well from your experience, maybe tips and tricks and so on. So, for this, once again, thank you for this. Thank you for that.
Previously, do you work anywhere else?
Oh, okay, sorry. Oh, yeah. Previously, excuse me, I worked at 4 years before I joined China. 4 years at Amanda Properties as Amanda Properties Singapore. It is one of the company focusing on real estate, also servicing service management as well for the building, and also for the cleaning services, maintenance, and so on. As information system supervisor, so that's where I come from, more into the cybersecurity. So,
but during that period, it's not that definite.
It's, I can say macam it built my career on the cybersecurity. So on that part, Amada Properties actually subsidiary of Darussalam Asset. So Darussalam Asset is basically dia macam contoh dia government punya sektor, tapi bawah dia Amada Properties, dia ada macam Celcom, macam contoh Celcom macam tu lah. So dia ada 32 subsidiary company. So that Darussalam Asset, dia ada we use government framework ICS control at the time 7.1, but now it's 8.1 lah. So that's where my cybersecurity career baru nak build. Dan before that, just the
Celcom means
just bagi contoh lah. Macam dekat Brunei dia ada DST, DST dia macam Celcom macam tu lah.
Saya tahu Telbro je.
Dulu Telbro. Sekarang dia dah ubah dah jadi UNN, United Nation.
Oh, dia tu
dia macam dekat sini I believe, please correct me if I'm wrong lah. Internet service provider dia satu, tapi dia punya internet service provider dia satu, I think DG, tapi selebihnya dia macam apa tu?
Macam dia branch out, bukan
branch out
lah, they do their own. No, dekat Malaysia internet service provider dia multiple. Multiple. Previously used to be Telekom Malaysia sahaja.
Dia macam satu je.
Telekom Malaysia yang control everything. Now there are few more. A few more yang holding the infrastructure as well as. So kalau dulu it is meant for Telekom Malaysia, all the infrastructure belongs to them. Tapi this was long ago. Sebelum you masuk college lagi pun.
Sama-sama lah dekat Brunei, dulu Telbro, tapi dia untuk fokus untuk dekat rumah je. Now Telbro tukar jadi UNN, dia fokus dekat untuk home broadband sama dengan mobile network lah. So now they conquer jadi satu, and then dia ada tiga saya lupa, dia macam dia sales provider untuk
service provider
macam tu lah. So dia UNN ni sudah tukar jadi from Telbro to UNN, so dia conquer infrastructure.
Alright, so basically course content apa yang kita akan cover, pertama introduction, a little bit some introduction, and then cyber threat landscape. Kita akan focus on how does the cyber threat, the risk and impact, cyber risk and impact, the governance framework, okay, with the NIST, ISO or CIS. Alright, there are a lot more actually. There are CAAM, there are SOC 2, there are HIPAA and everything. Probably I will, this one, in my course usually I cover everything. The only thing is I haven't covered CAAM only. Do you know what is CAAM? It's more focused on the aviation industry. And then how to identify and prioritizing vulnerability. There are strategy and leadership aligning cybersecurity with business goals. Okay. There are incident response where we manage and recovering the cyber incidents. And we have crisis, we have business continuity, we have cyber regulations, we have audits and compliance, cybersecurity culture, emerging technology like IoT and cybersecurity roadmap. So there's a lot. Okay, there's a lot in this. We want to cram up into 5 days course, but hopefully this will be, because we do essential workshops. So basically, we will learn a lot more on high level. The way I'm teaching, usually during introduction and earlier, I will touch a little bit about this, but not into depth. And later, then we go a little bit deeper into the course. Okay. So on the course, okay. The question here: why cybersecurity matter for executives? When I say executives, means that senior management and above. Okay. So cybersecurity today isn't just problems of IT teams, right? Previously, everything about cybersecurity or they call it, they don't even call it cybersecurity. They just call it hacking, the virus, antivirus, and so on. So that's why it was pushed to IT. I don't want to know about this. You settle it, alright? So it's a key business enabler actually. Okay. Why I say that? As executive, you hold an ultimate responsibility to protect data, protect customer, and organization trust. That's why I mentioned about business enabler. Okay, like this simple. I will give an example. For example, why people use SAP for their accounting. Just simple example, why they use SAP for accounting. SAP is expensive. Okay, of course they said they are robust and everything. Okay, there are a lot of similar ERP software available in the market that are cheaper, but because SAP is a strong systems that give you a proper ERP, enterprise resource planning, especially on the finance, on the accounting, on the manufacturing, and so on. People who subscribe to SAP or purchase SAP or utilize SAP as their main ERP system will be given a confidence to their customer, saying that this is a strong company. So similarly, back to cybersecurity. Okay, if any company who adopt a proper cybersecurity within their daily routines as well as their regulations, internal regulations, so they will be seen as a strong company that really take care of everything, inclusive of their customer security as well. So that's one thing. A single breach. Another thing is actually we need to understand that a single breach can cost millions. Single breach can cost millions. Not just in immediate fixes, but also loss of reputation. Opposite to trust, right? And customer confidence. I just give you one example, another example. A study found that the company lost about 22%. I won't say the company yet, but later we'll go into detail about case studies. 22% of customers because of the breach happened in their company. Okay, and this means cybersecurity must be prioritized at the leadership level. So a lot of people are saying, why do we do business? Okay, why do we do business? What is business all about? Right? Okay, business is not about just making money. Okay, the core process about business is about more like you having a customer and how long do you retain them. As long as the customer is there, then your business will remain relevant. And so that's why we need to take care customer as first, right? As well as their views on us, to see us as a strong organization, right? We supposed to simplify cybersecurity, especially on the terms and jargon for the non-technical leaders. That's why I write here cybersecurity in plain English. We like to call a lot of things phishing, scamming, ransomware. Some new non-technical executive, they may find this, very hard to absorb, especially when they are busy with absorbing other matters as well. Key terms here that executives should know. If you see that, one is threats, second one is risk, the third one is vulnerability, and the fourth one is incident. Try to minimize what they need to understand first. This is not just this, but let's start with more first. Okay. If we break cybersecurity into simple terms, a threat could be a hacker, right? While vulnerability is something they exploit, like employees using weak password, right? Your job as a leader is to ensure priorities are clear. Your team knows what is at risk. Focus on promoting a security first mindset means that the mindset must promote always security first, and investing in the right tools and asking the right questions. This is important, like whether your organization is truly prepared for a breach. Okay. Tell me a little bit about Brunei cybersecurity. Okay, so far, is there any certifications? Who handle the certifications in Brunei?
I can say, to be honest, in Brunei, dia tak centralized everything.
Okay.
So even cybersecurity Brunei, macam dekat Malaysia, cybersecurity Malaysia, dia apa tu? Authority. Dekat Brunei, dia authority untuk nationwide, tapi dia belum set lagi.
Dari segi enforcement tu
enforcement lagi. Dia ada akta dah, tapi dia akta dia enforcement untuk critical infrastructure je. So untuk certification dia macam jumble up lah. Dia dekat Brunei pun training facilitator dia tak ramai. Dia bawa dekat Malaysia. So to be honest, I can say in that way lah, just answer. So there's no.
But your focus is more on the governance of cybersecurity or enforcement?
There will be, I believe, there will be two part lah. But for myself, I'm more into governance. Tapi technical part, I want to. Tapi I'll be for the technical part, since I'm the head of unit already, so I'll be passing it to my. So actually, Sheena. It's not enforcement for the cybersecurity. It's actually safety more into the not cybersecurity related. So just more
on safety health environment, right? Safety health environment. But you want to cover cybersecurity inside
in the Sheena, yes. I want to implement the cybersecurity framework.
For Sheena.
For Sheena, the defense.
Understood.
Sheena, we report to our Prime Minister office. So it's more into the authority, or more into the
Sheena do enforcement as well on
Sheena.
Okay, great. So at least the framework of enforcement is there.
Yes.
But you want to adapt the enforcement inside
internal. Right.
Great. That's good. Next, cybersecurity as a strategic business risk. So cybersecurity is one of the biggest risks modern business are facing at this moment. Most of the biggest, one of the biggest risks. So financial costs are staggering. Some organizations pay millions in ransomware, fines, as well as legal fees. As well as legal fees. Certain organization, they decided they won't pay, they won't tolerate it. You know about ransomware, right? They won't tolerate ransomware, but they need to spend money as well to restore, which cost them interruption in the business activity. Beyond money, the damage to reputation can be losing customer forever. For example, after a major breach was found, nearly 60% of small business closes within 6 months. That's why cybersecurity must be integrated into strategic decision making at the highest level. It's not optional, it's essential. This is the risk. Okay? One of the risks is financial losses, reputational damage, regulatory consequences, operational disruptions. We need to make sure that executive level integrates those cybersecurity within the operation. Okay, so how to do that is actually we need to include cybersecurity as a standing item in board meeting. We need to develop cross-departmental collaboration for incident response. Track cybersecurity investment as essential, not optional. Align cybersecurity effort with overall risk management framework. Do you have ISO 27001? Not yet. Not yet. Okay, that's one of my suggestions. As a start, we need to go there first. I believe being China, they must be certified with 14001, right? It must be certified, and definitely they have ISO 9001. So 20001, usually most of the company in Malaysia, after they took, usually the first one they will go for 9001. Okay, and then after that 14,000 together with 27,000, they will do together usually, and after that then they will go for other things. That's usually as a start Malaysia. That's the trend. Any question here?
I think I understand include the cybersecurity on the board meeting.
Yeah.
Is there any way like for example, can you give an example how to brought up as during the board meeting? Asal board meeting the chairman level and also it's high level.
Okay.
So
They usually this will become easier if we draw out the issue of ISO 27001. Okay, if we bring the ISO 27001, then once the board agree why we should go for that certification, it is a lot more easier and it will automatically become part of board agendas. Then another thing is, like you mentioned, we have chairmen, we have CEOs, and we have board of directors. Sometimes, being as an employee, we seldom reach the board of directors, right? We seldom reach, but the person who are close to us is the CEO and sometimes chairmen, right? So these are the person. My first suggestion: these are the person that we should first convince them. We will go into detail on the strategy. Strategy, who to approach, who to convince. Right? But I believe, being China, it's easy because they are working with certain standards already. I believe there are a lot of things has been documented properly, right? Properly. Just to add another certification is easy.
okay. Thank you.
So that's what. Okay, this is one of the survey conducted by PwC. You know where is PwC, right? PricewaterhouseCoopers. They are one of the big four in the world. This slide actually they highlight why cybersecurity is ranked as #1 business risk, even amidst global challenges like the pandemic, the inflation, and supply chain disruptions. They are still above that. Of course, we are talking about COVID last time, right? It affects globally, but will it affect your reputation? No, right? Yeah, everybody is scared about COVID. Everybody is scared about those pandemic. Okay, a lot of people staying home and a lot of office closes, and even it shut down certain businesses as well, right? But it doesn't affect our reputation. Customer, of course, earlier they resist to come, but not because of us having pandemic, but because the pandemic is happening globally, right? Cybersecurity, okay, will definitely reflect your image. Can you imagine you being China, right? You are enforcing people to comply with the environment, especially, right? Safety and health is quite common, but environment is something, is coming up, is building up, and then suddenly you are attacked by hackers.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how bad the reputations are, right? But according to the PwC Pulse survey, they call it Pulse survey, nearly 80% of respondents see cyber attack as a serious or moderate risk. Probably they say moderate, depends on their business. Okay, another one is serious. But 38% here mention about moderate, 40% mention about serious. To me, I wouldn't agree if you see that it is a moderate risk unless you are not working with computers. Then who are they to hack you, right? You're just doing with white papers and everything, then nothing to worry. Nothing to worry. Okay. The challenge lies in the unpredictable nature of cybersecurity. Okay, for most business leaders, the technology can feel overwhelming and hard to understand. It is a modern cat and mouse game where hackers continue to attack and defenders must stay ahead. Okay. Ada orang pernah cakap hackers or cyber issues are everywhere. Sama juga dengan scammer, right? Sama juga dengan scammer. No matter how advanced we are, they will go a little bit more advanced than us. They will adapt lah, basically. They will adapt. They will adapt. There's no such in the world lah. There's no such situation that we can declare that we are safe from hackers. Okay. So back then, executives often rely on CISO. You know who is CISO? Certified. What is it?
Chief Information System Officer. Security Officer.
Chief Information Security Officer. So China has one? No. They need to hire one after this. Okay. But probably not after, but usually after the ISO 27001 or anything, once they feel that this can become a good threat to their business, a good threat or a good advantage for the business, right? Certain people see this threat as an advantage for them. I'm not saying that people see that this is an advantage. They are hackers. Normal business. Sometimes they see this threat as a competitive advantage for them. Okay. When they are ahead, then they manage to convince other people better. Okay. So here you see why cybersecurity is an unpredictable and rapidly evolving threat landscape, like I mentioned. No matter how advanced we are, hackers and virus will always adapt. It's rely heavily on expert implementation and ongoing vigilance. Vigilance means that it is an ongoing process. It's not that we done one implementation and we are safe. No, there are no such thing. Alright, the complex and intimidating technology makes it hard for leaders to grasp fully. So I used to remember President of Petronas used to tell me, okay, what is constant in my business is change.
Oh, yeah.
So what he's trying to say, we need to keep change, keep improvement, right? We need to keep improving, and then your business will become relevant all the time. What are the challenges for business leaders? Navigating risks like global pandemics. Right? We need to navigate that. Similarly, like inflation and supply chain issue, while cybersecurity remain on the top concern. I mentioned earlier. This is the dependence on CISO to implement effective defenses, and cybersecurity is continuous, cat and mouse. you see here, cyber and talent pose serious risk for executive. Talent acquisition, okay, rising production costs, supply chain disruptions. They are leading to lower consumer US regulatory environment. Of course, this survey was taken in US. Recessions, high US interest rate. Okay, these are the threats, but they put cyber attacks just as the first one. These are all the risks. Even prolonged conflict in Ukraine is also listed, but this is still the top one. This is based not just on one company. This is across. Because PwC did consulting a lot of company under their umbrella. They can easily get this seriously. So the question here, to what extent do each of the following pose a risk to your company? The list on this, right? So what extent?
Sir, this slide will be given?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
Yes, I haven't, probably during the break nanti I asked them to put inside. Usually they masuk dalam tablet tu. Okay, and then after that you just email to yourself.
Okay.
Cybersecurity and organizational success. Cybersecurity is not just about avoiding risks. Okay, it's not just about. It is competitive advantage, like I mentioned. It is a competitive advantage. Customer wants to know their data is safe, and business that demonstrate this commitment earn trust. Understand that? So, building trust, customer prefer business that prioritize data protection. Probably in your business at this moment, your organization at this moment, you haven't had a really serious attack yet. But we cannot wait for that attack to happen before we trigger something. Right? So similarly, like if you do environment, right? We need to start take care of the environment until the accident happen. We cannot wait for the accident. Right? So transparency in handling data increase loyalty. Actually, we need to be transparent to our customer. That how do we handle this? Okay, for example, you are collecting information about your customer, collecting information about when talking. Do you handle people going abroad on marine vessel, oil and gas, and everything?
More into the oil and gas.
Oil and gas, yeah. Means that they going on board. They must have a apa dia panggil seaman card, right?
Yes.
Seaman card or green card sometimes. Means that you are collecting their information, right? They're collecting their information. One day they will query, they will ask you, how do you handle my detail? How do you handle my detail? You cannot say that we are the authority, we know what to do. You cannot just say that, right? You cannot just say that. It doesn't really. Yeah, to some people who are really struggling for the work, they will just accept whatever you say. But if they have more choices, whether to come to Brunei or come to other places, then they will evaluate that. Right? Second one, regulatory compliance. Regulatory compliance means that compliance with regulation like GDPR and PDPA. I do not know. Brunei adapt PDPA or GDPR?
In Brunei, yes, we adapt PDPA, but as I mentioned earlier, the cybersecurity framework and including the data protection only, I can say I believe this year baru for PDPA baru enforced. Even though last time ada, tapi more into discussions in the Brunei regulation.
Supposed to protect against fines and legal risk, but to me, fines is just minimal. Minimal impact means that at one time you pay and that's it. But the reputation will affect you
everything. Regulatory compliance, demonstrate organizational accountability. Okay, means that if you're talking about accountability about saving the cyber threats and everything, right? By right, your board of director will definitely agree. And we just need to make sure that they understand. Because can you imagine, we are talking about personal data protection acts. We are collecting information, even health information you are collecting, right? Health information, we are collecting phone numbers, address and everything, who are their family, their close circle, within our records. Okay? Then what happened if this record was hacked and those details are available in the public domain then? When people search and it comes from China then, for example, this is bad. This is bad. The government might say that it's either they replace everybody in China or they close it down and build another one. Okay? So this is how serious it is. Okay. Competitive edge. Okay? In terms of competitive, secure businesses attract partnerships and collaborations. If you are secure, okay, when you want to do collaboration with others, better, and this as well as partnership. Okay. When I'm saying partnership, is not just joint venture with other company, but your supplier. Okay, your supplier is actually your partner. If your supplier doesn't build a good trust in you, then they gain a better negotiation with them. Okay. So that's one thing. And long-term value, secure organization is better equipped to adapt to future threats. Proactive cybersecurity reduces overall risk exposure. So remember, investing in cybersecurity now ensure resilience and success in the long run. Why cybersecurity is a competitive advantage? This I take from Forbes. Forbes mentioned that cybersecurity is no longer a regulatory requirement. It has become a crucial competitive differentiator. If you are strong, then you can differentiate yourself from others who are not strong in cybersecurity. Today in digital, especially today in digital landscape, the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, for example, in the US, has intensified its focus on cybersecurity. Can you imagine? They just do licensing on FDA, right? In the US, but they also focus on cybersecurity. Why? Do they have competitors? No, they don't. Right? FDA is just one entity that enforces everybody, right? And particularly within medical devices, they focus, right? FDA. And as evidenced by its new pre-market guidance and report highlighting vulnerability in medical technologies as well. So this shift is actually underscores the urgency of integrating robust cybersecurity measures to safeguard patient safety and data security. If you see here, as a conclusion here, you see this FDA, we are talking about cybersecurity as a business imperative. Risk of ignoring cybersecurity means that you are non-compliance. Law like the Consolidated Appropriation Act 2033 in the US can lead to severe financial and legal repercussions, instead fines. Right? Data breaches not only erode customer trust but also result in long-term damage to company stocks, value, and stakeholder confidence. Cybersecurity as imperative beyond regulatory compliance. Cybersecurity protects organization from financial losses, legal penalties, and reputational damage caused by data breaches. And strong cybersecurity posture build customer trust, enhance brand reputation, and attracts investors who value secure operations. When I said about this, means that a strong cybersecurity business will attract better investors. Building a cybersecurity strategy means that organization must adopt tailored multi-layer strategy. It is not just a single strategy for cybersecurity. That include risk assessment, incident response plan, and proactive measures. Right now, AI is around. It plays a transformative role in managing advanced healthcare, for example, especially healthcare data, but requires responsible deployment to mitigate ethical and privacy concerns. Can you imagine? AI is everywhere now, and a lot of people try to adapt AI. Okay, so we haven't seen any virus yet riding the AI, but once it is, then you see. I will definitely see that if we haven't taken care of that, the spread is very vast because it can make a virus, okay, a virus or malware or phishing or anything can think on their own.
Yeah. Macam cerita Terminator.
Yes,
Sky.
exactly.
Yeah.
That one is physical.
Physical, yeah.
Okay, they turn things into physical. But
This is
this
virtual.
virus, kalau flu virus kita dah rasa susah kan sebab dia boleh morph on their own and become something. So how about this computer virus can do that? Good.
Yeah. Will be much dangerous. The thing that we cannot see physically but only on the device like will be dangerous.
Yeah, there is. First, we need to understand what is cyber threats. Okay, there are threats, there are attacks, there are other things. Okay, threats and attacks is usually we categorize it differently. Okay, definition of cyber threats is actually they are malicious activity targeting system, network, or data. Okay, it doesn't mean that this is a person, it can be a virus as well. So that's why I can list up here. There are malware, there are phishing, there are ransomware, there are DDoS. You know about DDoS? There are man-in-the-middle attacks. Okay. There are zero-day attacks. There are social engineering, there are insider threats. I just put some definition on the common threats. Phishing means that a deceptive email or messages sent to you to steal your credential. This is example credential. Okay, probably they want to steal a lot of other things. Right? Ransomware, actually what they do, they actually locks your especially Microsoft Office related. There's one office that I used to work before. QA manager, you know QA manager. In my previous office, QA manager is actually handling all the ISO documentation for the company. Even ISO 9001, 14001, 27001 is the previous company lah. He got affected with ransomware. Can you imagine?
He put a file. Yeah.
Then as I asked him, when did you back up your laptop? 6 months ago.
Oh no, 6 months data.
Of course, inside their laptop is actually we always practice that we have a share folder inside, right? I believe you practice the same. Share folder, they are personal, they are departmental, and they are enterprise-wide share folder, right? Three folders usually they share inside. So of course, there are things that he puts inside there, and luckily those things are not affected. phishing continues to be the most common entry for cyber attacks. Okay. Now if you see here why phishing is effective here for the cyber attacks, is actually they exploit human psychology actually, and trust. Right? They target employees at all levels. Okay. Types of phishing attacks. There are spear phishing. Okay. Suka-suka dia bagi nama spear phishing. Means that customized attack targeting specific individuals. Okay. Means that they focus that person and then they customize it accordingly. Business email compromise means that fake emails from executive requesting transfer, for example. Okay, fake email requesting transfer, or transfer. What I mean transfer here, transfer duit lah. Money. Okay, you just send email to your somebody, account manager or accounting manager, right? Accounting manager, say please transfer $1 million to my account. Give some any reason, right? So clone phishing is that replicates legitimate messages to trick users. Right? Of course, in TikTok, in everything that they are saying that there's a lot of orang try mimic using AI. Right? Oh, sorry, need to change that.
Oh, I think it happened to this channel as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Probably the lock tu.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not really.
Okay. Kita broken.
That's good.
Okay. So kalau dia cakap dia try mimic somebody that we know and asking for money, but that one usually doesn't really affect organization. That affect personal. But it can happen. You can do that sending to your, for example, your accounting manager to your treasury and asking to transfer. But if the company is having a very good, procedure, okay, they won't accept any instruction like that, right? Any instruction. But to small and medium company, sometimes they will adhere to that. Okay. The clone phishing means that it replicates legitimate messages to trick user. That's clone phishing. This is one case study. Attacks on leading to unauthorized transfer, right? They call it CEO fraud. CEO fraud. If you see here, problem is yang saya susah sikit sebab kadang I duduk that side, jadi mouse I kena pergi kanan baru keluar sini.
Oh yeah.
I duduk this side, I kena pergi kanan.
Oh yes, pasal dual monitor.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me share.
Oh no, before.
You know about no before, right?
Nice.
You read about this lot. Okay. FBI updates that their number and BEC is now $26 billion scam. This is related to CEO frauds. You see? This is 2017 and this is 2019. This is within 2 years. This records within 2 years. Yeah, they're increasing. This is 1.4 million, almost every month. And this is 1.2, 0.9 million, almost every month. There's a lot of occasions happen. So we cannot just take this very lightly. I believe this they're taking from, they call it IC3, the Internet Crime Complaint Centre. Right? So what is BEC? Is actually the business email compromise that we mentioned earlier. Ataupun dia panggil as known as CEO fraud. So macam mana dia punya modus operandi, kita panggil modus operandi. They start attackers see if they can spoof your domain. Whether they can just simply tukar domain tu. Dia bukan tukar dekat website, dia tukar dekat domain name server ke something tu. Or whether they can tap on your line and then divert the email sahaja, and impersonate the CEO of or other important people in your office. For example, CEO asking finance manager to transfer is quite weird lah, unless you own the company, and just call transfer sikit then it can happen. Tapi kalau account manager asking their staff to do the transfer,
Dia agree itself percaya.
dia akan percaya immediately.
Yeah.
Dia akan percaya immediately. Usually between accounting manager and dia punya treasury, biasanya tak ada procedure. Most of them, you go back and check lah.
Yeah.
Most of them tak ada procedure. Okay. So bad actors often troll the company for months to gather the data. Sometimes dia duduk main dalam tu, dia try, dia testing dulu, dia tak bagi instruction lagi. Gather the data necessary in pulling off a successful attacks. Okay. So and the fish, dia pun hantar dekat finance department, urgent wire transfer request, please send 100,000 to a new account, blah 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 blah. Ataupun kalau dia tahu, I still ingat one of my client last time, dia akan hantar satu instruction to bank dalam bentuk text, Word document. Last time, tapi this is not bank, to Ministry of Finance, to get the payment. Dia bagi dalam bentuk text file, masuk dalam thumb drive and transfer. Okay, masuk thumb drive and transfer. Bayangkan during transfer, okay, itu physical Kalau that person yang tolong bawa tu suddenly dia tukar account number, bayangkan. I pernah tengok from that transfer, Ministry of Finance issue satu check value dia 1 billion ringgit. From that thumb drive yang bawa tu.
Oh my.
You nampak tak macam mana impact dia? Kalau dia buat issue check is quite fine lah. So bila you issue check, then dia ada nama proper tu kan. Tapi kalau you buat a telegraphic transfer, okay, and outside telegraphic transfer is quite okay. Tapi kalau yang dalam Malaysia, kalau you just normal transfer tu kan, normal transfer you just key in, that's it.
Oh right. It happened.
Then ni dia hantar to CFO, please pay this sensitive invoice, I'm on vacation away with it. Dia hantar 3 orang sekali tu serentak. Your CEO, and then to human resource, I need 5 times 1,000 physical Amazon gift card. Please scratch them off and send to me a clear picture of the barcodes. Sebab dia tak nak jumpa orang tu physically, jadi dia suruh kita scratch, ambil gambar, hantar. CEO minta
Bagi je dah. Kalau tak ada isu.
Benda macam ni, yalah 1,000 mungkin baik lah. Tapi kalau you minta $10, $5 sometimes, we give my approval, then I just sign lah. HR akan fikir macam tu. Okay. So in terms of response, kalau you are finance department, I better get this payment to new account. You dah ada list of you sebagai treasury contoh dia, you dah ada list dah account payable, right? Account number apa semua, and suddenly CEO call, please change this account number, bertukar. Habis. Memang habis. Kata macam ni CFO, dia kata, it's from the CEO, I'll take care of this for him. Okay. Okay, macam kalau dia address to CFO, they also has their own authority. Okay, of course probably dia punya limit of authority up to 10,000. Certain orang sampai 250,000. That's limit of authority. And then suddenly saying this to him, so he will do within his authority according to the SOP. Yeah. According to SOP.
Yeah.
So this is much more dangerous compared to this. Okay, because we have the C-levels dekat situ kan. Chief Strategy, Chief Finance, Chief Information, Chief whatever lagi. There are a lot of chief there. So they have their own authority, limit of authority, how much they can spend and then what and so on. And the damage is here, you see. Social engineering was successful, giving hacker access to what they were after, causing fraudulent wire transfer and massive data breaches. Result is the fallout after a successful attack can be highly damaging for both company and its employee. The resulting damage, money is gone forever. Usually we cannot recover. You recover 4% of the time usually. Sometimes CEO is fired. Sometimes CFO is fired because of this. Right? Lawsuit are false, intangible, tarnish reputation, loss and trust, as well as stock value drops. So think, he just mentioned, think before you click. This is think. Alright. It's 10:30. Let's go for a break. There's some pastries. You had your breakfast today?
Yes.
No.
Maybe just drinks lah.
Drink. Ada makanan juga tapi you teringin nak makan makanan Malaysia.
Yes. Dah lama dah pergi.
Mamak. There are some, tak tahu whether it is today or tomorrow, we are going to do some assessment on your current condition. Probably we going to use this or the other one. Up to you. You know your laptop atau you nak pakai this one. Okay, no problem. Alright. Kita selalu susah nak sebenarnya. Prioritization. Okay, we read that prioritization and resource allocation. Why prioritization is critical. Right? So prioritizing in cyber risk is essential because no organization has unlimited resource to address every threat. That's why we prioritize. That's why when I said that if you put everything high, you cannot afford. Actually, you cannot afford to handle it. Right? So by focusing on the most impactful and likely risks, actually, you can maximize the effectiveness of your cybersecurity strategy. So, for example, if you addressing unpatched vulnerability in a critical customer database, should take precedence over minor risks like updated software on non-essential devices. Alright. So this approach is not only reduce the chances of significant incidents but also aligns your cybersecurity investment with your organization protocols. Okay, sometimes I just remember way back in year 2000. Okay, when I talked to firewall people. Okay, firewall people. Their strategy is simple. If we want to secure, then we unplug all.
That's secure.
That is definitely secure.
Yeah.
Definitely secure. But the problem is we cannot do that, right? We cannot do that. So to make sure the security, sometimes the word unplug is applicable. When there is a risk that is really high, then we cannot afford to tolerate if they get hacked. Okay, so means that you need to decide whether if we do not have the resource to mitigate or to handle the risk, do a temporary shutdown then.
Okay.
When it is very critical. When it is very critical. For example, you overseeing that people are attacking, even though it hasn't done any harm to the portal, for example. It hasn't harmed your portal. But you do not have the resource. Probably if you want to gather the resource to overcome those issues, takes you 2 days or 3 days. Should it be provided? It's better to shut down rather than they manage to hack and damage a lot more. Okay, that is important. That's why we need to prioritizing things, right? So up to the moment where we cannot move, then unplug. Okay. So benefit of prioritization. What benefit for this is actually we are talking about we want to reduce the likelihood of major incidents. So of course we want to improve the efficiency of cybersecurity investment as well as align risk management with organization goals. So this approach not only reduces the chances of significant incident but also align your cybersecurity investment with your organization product goals. Step to prioritize. Yeah, step to prioritize cyber risk. Because in the step, first we need to identify the assets, critical assets. Okay. We need to identify the critical asset, like what you are doing here. Okay. The only thing is we need to expand that further. Means that you need to understand which system, which data, which processes are most important to your organization. So when you're talking about data, you need to break down every single data that you have, whether it is online or it is offline. But don't worry if you miss that. It's best to put all. Don't worry if you miss it. Sebab when you implement ISO 27001, there is one term that we call continuous improvement. So we need to always continuously improve it, right? Assess the risk. Okay. Assess the risk means that we evaluate the threats, vulnerability as well as the potential impact. After we identify, we assess. Then after we assess, then we came up with a risk matrix. So what is risk matrix? The one that I shared just now. Okay. So whether we categorize the risk as low, medium or high based on likelihood as well as the impact. When I say allocate resources, it doesn't mean just tools and software. Sometimes we need to get more people. I'm not saying about hiring. Probably we can just delegate to other teams. Okay, other teams. For example, finance. Okay, they take care of finance things. HR, they will take care of HR things. But if you avoid this, then you are planning for trouble. Right? We are not threatening you, but this is a threat happening globally. Okay, happening globally, then we are not protected. We are no special that somebody will protect us. No? Right? So similarly to finance department, HR, even the operations. There are many tricks lah macam mana nak dapat. Tricks. I when I was IT manager, alright. It's just good that my organization dia macam flat, CEO and the rest is managers. Okay, there are no assistant manager, there are no GMs, there are no MPs, anything, right? So CEO and managers. Even the shareholder is managers.
Oh.
There are in that company there are 3 shareholders.
Okay.
The first shareholder is the CEO. Another 2 shareholder is the managers.
Managers.
One not one manager of your own department.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we feel that we are equal, regardless they hold the share or anything. The only different bila ada time director's remuneration they got more lah. And we don't need to do that lah. Okay, the thing is, by having that, then we are close to all the managers. In the managers consider senior management in their office. So in the senior management team, including macam secretary and everything, usually when we go for retreat, it's about 30 people.
Okay.
30 people. Okay, so 30, sometimes 35, and we always means when we go retreat, essentially we brainstorm what to do. Okay, about company vision, mission, what to do next, what is our plan, what is our strategy to handle this and that, right? In terms of marketing, in terms of delivery, in terms of we discuss all the issues. Okay, and during the daytime we enjoy sightseeing, and that made us a lot closer. We are very close. Okay, in my office, no manager will say no when I enter the office. No manager will say I am busy when I enter the office. Okay, I enter the office. So similarly, my treatment to them. So whenever we do things, when I enter the office, they will put aside the keyboard and face me. Okay? Regardless it is important or not. Sometimes borak kosong. Okay, but to me, bukan kita pergi untuk borak kosong. It's for networking, for the purpose of networking. By doing that, this get a lot easier. Just go to the manager, for example, finance manager. Usually, yang paling strict is finance. Simple, just go. She's a lady, Patsy nama dia. Hey, Patsy, I need your support. I need your team. 1 or 2. Can you allocate one? Tak apa ni. Ni kita nak buat cybersecurity dan ED sports. Susah lah ada orang ni. Tapi kita ni yang bos dah approve, and we need participation from everyone. Okay. Dia bagi nama. Okay, bila bos bagi instruction, okay, the staff is secret. And participation in my class usually 90 to 100%.
Oh, that's good. Nice.
Sebab the thing is, okay, bila boss allocate their resource to us, the boss is responsible of deliverables. It doesn't mean that deliverables get delayed. So he need to allocate those deliverable tasks to other people there. Jadi macam tu dia buat. Saya buat sama juga dengan finance yang itu. Itulah, kalau cakap dengan finance, they're always busy. Okay, they're always busy. So tell you the truth lah, finance busy, very very busy during month-end period. Okay, when they want to compile everything for month-end closing. Okay, payroll people will be busy starting from the mid of the month until month-end payroll. Okay, other than that, they have time. They have time. I'm not saying that they are not busy, but they have time. They can allocate time. But we need to respect. But then we cannot touch them. They need to really focus. Okay. But other than that, we can kacau lah sikit. If not, we can on. Okay, 1 hour dia okay lah. Just 2 weeks in a month. So that's when we negotiate. We negotiate, especially to the boss. Okay. So that's the thing. When I'm talking about resource allocation, as I mentioned about tools, I mentioned about software. Right? So tools and software require budgets. Okay. For example, in Malaysia, if you want to conduct a penetration test, can easily cost you 60,000 to 150,000 ringgit, which is huge for us. Right? Huge. That's penetration test. That's talking about one system. What happens if we have 20 systems? Of course, we can bulk them together into one. Probably we get cheaper lah. But economics of scale lah, we call it. Right? And then we need to find a software that can help us. Okay, there are certain software that we can just play around with whatever resources that we have. For example, Excel to do the tracking, right? But there are certain software that we need to purchase sometimes. So this is important. Budget need to be allocated for this. Budget need to be allocated. So like vulnerability tests, scanning and everything, they are cheap one, they are expensive one. Okay. My suggestion, yes, you can hire a cheap one, we can just purchase and do conduct our own. But we also need to have an external auditor just to double check, because we know our system inside out. The problem is because we know them too well. Okay, we forget what color their shirt was, right? Did you forget what color did your wife pakai semalam?
Yeah,
Sama kan?
it's a concept.
So similar to this one. So we always need a third party to check, to check what we done is correct or enough. Okay, biasanya kalau kita nak conduct, nak implement certification like ISO, they will come the first time they call it adequacy audit. Adequacy audit. So they will come check whether your preparation is enough or not. Is it enough according to the policy, the standard that we are looking for? Okay. If enough, then they will sign up us for the proper one. That's adequacy audit. So similarly, implementing 27,000 a month, we need to conduct that as well. Using risk matrices, right? Using risk matrices for prioritization. Tak boleh sebut je. Prioritization is okay. So, what is risk matrix? Okay. Risk matrix is a simple yet powerful tool for prioritizing the risk. Okay. It allows you to visualize threats based on two factors. One is how likely they are about to occur, and how severe their impact would be to eliminate them. Basically here, likelihood and impact. Okay, basically. For example, if the critical system has unpatched vulnerabilities, so that would be a high likelihood and high impact that requires immediate action. Conversely, a non-essential device with a weak password might fall into the low likelihood and low impact category, meaning that it is less urgent. So by categorizing risk this way, you can ensure your focus is always on what matters most. So you get the idea, right? What is critical? What is, I'm not saying not critical, but less critical. So can you think of something that is not critical in your office? Critical is quite easy to think, but of course it's quite difficult to list all out, all in the list. But less critical, that's the most problem.
I think in terms of IT devices, I can say like mouse issue, tapi the laptop have the Jadi
Most nothing to do with cybersecurity.
cybersecurity.
If you're talking about thumb drive issue,
Oh yeah.
thumb drive will affect cybersecurity. Okay, it's critical. It depends on the situation. I cannot just say that it is critical. I cannot just say it is not. Right? Depends on the situation. Certain company they block all. They block all thumb drive. Okay, flash drive. So people call it flash drive, right? So they block all. Why? They do not. One thing is they do not want virus to enter using that flash drive. Another thing is they want to prevent people from stealing
The file data.
intellectual property
Oh yeah.
materials inside. So simple. Like my previous office was engineering office. All the design that we design offshore platforms. We design plants, oil and gas plants, and so on. The design is our intellectual property, even though it is belong to our client and we deliver. Okay, but it's still our intellectual property until we hand it over. So people may come and just copy and set up another office and become our competitor then. Because we are not worried about competitor during that time. But it is our IP, we cannot steal it. Of course, we are talking about categories like the low risk, medium risk, high risk, and their likelihood and then their impact. Okay, so critical system without patch update, for example, and low likelihood, low impact, non-essential device. Non-essential device means that what? With a big password. What is non-essential device, for example? If you are talking about handphones, okay. Handphones you bring into the office with a very weak password and entering your Wi-Fi it is this. Okay. But non-essential something macam you cakap tadi lah, actually mouse kan, tapi this is nothing to do with it. Nobody hack mouse lah.
Yeah.
But for example, you have a TV like this, right?
Oh yeah. Correct.
TV like this, but this one is smart TV. Smart TV it have OS, Windows OS inside, so this is critical. Tapi kalau you cakap just a smart TV, okay, just a smart TV, kalau dia being affected dengan virus, you just shut it down, no problem. Shut it down, format to factory default, then everything gone. So not to worry too much, right? This is one of the example. So similarly, even this one, even though they are the OS Windows, we can categorize it as low. Okay, even though they might have virus or anything, but we can categorize it as low. But the mitigation dia macam tu lah. And we suspect they are being affected. Shut down, format. Because people don't use this as they use this for operation in presenting, but they don't store anything here by right. Right? If they store it today, then tomorrow we can delete, no problem. Like in training like this one, right? In training centers, usually they have lots of tablets, laptops, okay, and multiple people are using it. Okay, in a year. Maybe hundreds of people are using this. They might introduce a lot of things inside. Okay, we need to have a mechanism. We need to have a mechanism where when another person is using it and the new person doesn't see anything what the previous person is doing, especially the password, bank information. Sometimes, I do remember years ago. And we use this and we key in bank password apa semua. Next person when they use it, they can even see.
Yeah, they know.
But this was years ago lah, 10 years or 15 years ago. Bank usually mungkin quite safe during that time, tapi kalau macam social media password lah, Facebook password ke apa, agent can just
Yeah. True.
Okay, talking about resource allocation strategy. Resource allocation strategy, the key principle here, we are talking about addressing high priority risk first. Okay, kat mana kita nak allocate resource ni? Kita nak allocate resource. Kita tengok yang high priority, contoh dia server is not being patched, right? So most likely kena attack is very high. Okay, very high. Satu yang exaggerate a bit, firewall is not being patched. Okay, it is definitely very high, right? It's very high. So in order to patch the firewall, what do we need? Sometimes we need downtime, kan? That's one thing. Sometimes we need downtime. Certain patch require downtime. Certain patch it doesn't affect anything. Okay, that's the thing. There are resources bila kita nak buat downtime. Okay, there are resources. Is there any tools? Probably no need lah. Okay, untuk firewall patch, probably no need. But there are certain cases that when we do firewall patch, kita kena guna thumb drive. Okay, we need to download somewhere and install it. There are certain cases, tapi sekarang less likely to happen lah. Long ago, it used to happen that way.
It's the pen drive.
Tiap kali nak update, kita kena pakai pen drive untuk install the patch. Yeah. But we need to balance quick wins with long-term investment. Apa maksud dia? Okay. In order for us to allocate the resource consider investment. Regardless whether the department invest their people to your team. Okay. It means that they're giving their resources to you, they're giving their time to you. It means that they are sacrificing certain tasks. Your duty. Another thing is you ask for budget from the company. So that means it's investment. Investment, people would like to see ROI. Okay. Return. People like to see return. What is ROI for cybersecurity? Certain people just see this is just a cost center, not profit center, right? Definitely. It's just cost center. So where is the profit?
Non-monetary value.
It's more like
repetition.
Intangible profit actually. Intangible, intangible, but it's more like economic profit. We call it economic profit. Why? What it means that by having this, then you can deliver your task without disruptions. If you don't implement this, you can still deliver your task, but what if shit happen?
It's difficult.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, some people say yes, shit happen. So yeah, up to you. If you want to accept those risks, okay, it's still up to the management. Management can decide to accept the risk, or management can decide to mitigate it. Right? Okay. So if management decide to accept, so be it.
Yeah.
Then we decide. But if management decide they want to handle the risk, okay, regardless whether they want to reduce, mitigate, okay, what else? I forgot the terms there. We are talking about risk. There are decisions whether pertama accept, ignore, mitigate or reduce. Okay. So there are 4 decisions there when talking about risk. Okay. So that is the thing on the investment. So we need to make sure that people understand. Okay. You cannot just implement ISO 27000 without coming to them again, briefing, telling them, not telling what you have done, telling that how are they safe from such thing. Okay, we can tell them no. We can just we update. We can just tell them we update the firewall and you are safe from attack. No, nobody will buy it. Nobody will buy it. But if we just show example, okay, last week there is one of organization authority in Brunei, for example, that is similar to us, get attacked, okay, and their website get defaced and took them about 3 days to recover. Okay, what is your state of the thinking? Okay, they think they were safe. I believe they are not thinking that they are lucky. Okay, so by showing such example, then we can deliver the intangible ROI of implementing not quick win, the investment, implementing ISO
the
27,000 in terms of investment. Okay, quick wins and long term ni maksudnya apa? Quick wins, you need to always celebrate quick wins. Okay? You cannot just, for example, it took you 2 years to implement ISO 27,000. Okay? Bila you nak celebrate ni, nak tunggu 2 years kan? Lama. If you are talking about 20 people working in a group, some of them will leave lah. Some of them will leave. Nak tunggu celebrate. So we need to plan a small achievement. Okay, a phase ataupun kita panggil staggered achievement. Okay, itu konsep agile lah, agile methodology. We plan, we develop, okay, we test and we launch, and then we plan for next. That's agile methodology. I believe you know that, right? So do a modular. Don't try to go for a big bang. Big bang means that we want everything to complete and launch it. By that time, everything, majority of it are obsolete. That's the thing. That's why plan small, start small, and do a lot of quick wins, a lot of quick achievements. But that's why they mention as me balance quick wins with long-term investment. We need to balance. Sometimes if we celebrate too much, it costs you a lot as well. Okay, and avoid spreading resources too thinly. Okay, too thinly maknanya sana sikit, sini sikit, sini sikit. Lepas tu kita tak boleh nak handle semua. Okay, focus. We need to focus and make sure that this group delivers. Right? When I'm talking about resources, it's not just people, as well as software, investment, and service. That's why we do a focus group. By doing the prioritization, contoh ada 20 of them in priority 1. Okay, let's break it down. They are related to human resource, they are related to finance, they are related to IT. Let's break it down. Okay, pecahkan. Kalau tak cukup resource juga, mungkin finance first, HR nombor 2, ataupun finance first, IT nombor 2, dan HR nombor 3. Kalau tak cukup juga resource lah. Is always my suggestion lah. Bila priority is 1, do parallel. Tapi tengok situation. How can it is? Can we wait? Can we wait? The question is, can we wait? Right. Types of resources. Okay, this is financial, where budget, tools, training, infrastructure, upgrades. Right. Yeah, there are resources. Sometimes you need to upgrade your infrastructure. Contoh your switches. Switches you've been using it for so long. Okay, nak upgrade, selalu management kata tak ada duit, tak ada budget. Sometimes it happened to my friend. He was working in KLIA. He brought to the management the budget for upgrading the whole switches, these HP switches. Last 2 years, 3 years, okay, tak ingat lah, 2 years lah. KLIA havoc announcement dekat radio dan TV saying that if you planning to fly overseas, you need to reach KLIA minimum 4 hours before. Okay. So announcement tak cakap detail, and check. Okay, flight information display is on. You know what it meant by flight information display down? Okay. When you reach hotel, when you reach airport, you do not know where to check in. Check in first, you do not know where to check in. Unless kalau you fly contoh Malaysia Airlines, then you know Malaysia Airlines is always there. Okay, probably batik is always there, right? But kalau you fly other airlines, you do not know. That's first thing. After you check in, okay, they will give you which gate number, right? Which gate number. It is fine, gate number. If you are familiar with the airport, you know C3 is you need to take the bus, go to the satellite building, and search for the signboard. You know C3. But what happened during that airport? Sometimes they need to change the gate. Not sometimes. When during the airport, most of the time gate changes happen a lot. Okay, gate changes happen a lot. When the plane comes, suddenly this plane hasn't been pushed back yet, so the gate is not welcome. They need to change. Then berapa lama beza dia tu? Usually half an hour before flight. Then what happen if flight information display fail? Okay, in a small airport like, I do not know how big is Brunei Airport, 14,000 pegawai I do not know how big. Kalau I tengok Kota Baru Airport, you can just go there and guna hailer then make an announcement kalau in case the PA system is down lah. You boleh cakap announcement macam tu. Jadi fly to Kuala Lumpur for Air Asia, flight number blah 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 is changed from this gate to this gate. You nampak pun gate tu ke depan. That's small airport. Tapi big airport. Contoh daripada C3 dekat satellite building suddenly ditukar kepada H4 dekat terminal building ataupun kita panggil contact dia. You need to take the bus back, go back to the okay, that's one thing. That's one thing. But kalau you tak ada orang yang announce that, then what happen? Kalau you tak cukup resource untuk bawa people and then make sure all the passenger shifted, heboh kan? Yeah, airport do have a fallback procedure. Bila flight information display is down, we plan from day one again. I was there during the airport opening 1998. Okay, I was there, and the procedure is already matured. Even before KLIA airport is there, we only improve a little bit the procedure. When flight information display is down, means that tools required: walkie-talkie, hailer, whiteboards, marker, duster, manual, and some maju paper. Okay, that is required. So bila tu everybody need to gather dekat dia panggil apa? Airside Operation Centre. Airside Operation Centre. They are airside, they are ground side. Airside Operation Centre. There is a centre there. Okay. Still remember the location dia dekat bawah ni. Gate yang kita apa ni, escalator yang kita nak turun lepas security tu. Escalator tu kan, nak turun kan, dia dekat bawah tu. Dekat bawah tu, belakang tangga. Besar bilik dia, So you sit there, everybody akan gather kat situ, and you are given task. You go to this gate, you go to this gate, you go to this gate, semua walkie-talkie, dan ada satu commander lah, duduk situ lah kan. Dan dekat dalam bilik tu ada a few people will be drawing the chart on the whiteboard. Okay. Dia chart on whiteboard, dia akan jadi macam timeline punya chart resource timeline punya chart. Then dia akan cakap flight ni akan turun sini, dan dia akan tarik, ini 2 jam dia akan duduk, ini 1 jam, ini setengah jam. tarik. And then kalau suddenly yang ni, ni kena tukar, dia bawa ni turun sini pula. Very hectic. 2 orang tak cukup untuk handle that. That's teams of people inside the office, that's one thing, and thousands of customers, right? We need to really take care of this. So joke aside, but this is serious. Okay, this is serious. That's financial, means that tools, training and infrastructure. I haven't touched about this. Okay, training. I always stress that a lot. Okay, training is not just about to embed or the DNA of cybersecurity inside you. It's not just about that. It's about making a routine for everybody. Making a routine. For example, one of cybersecurity, not just cybersecurity lah. This is boleh kata cybersecurity, boleh kata security, boleh kata best practice for IT. You always practice a clean desk policy. You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, how's your practice clean desk policy in your office?
No sticky notes, password. That's one. And no put every confidential files into the locker. The other thing is always lock the laptop whenever you're out for even for a few minutes, and just lock the laptop. Other than that, what else? I think I forgot what the other policy thing.
It's okay. But basically, don't leave important things unattended, right?
Yep.
Don't leave important things unattended. Itu yang paling penting, the core of clean desk policy. So sama lah, dia akan apply dekat sticky notes, letak password. Okay. Private confidential documents duduk atas meja, then we went for toilet call or something, right? So they apply everything, right? They apply everything. So that kind of training is actually we want to impact the people. Okay. So those training comes bukan setakat training in the classroom saja. It can come with the awareness program. Like you send the email, you put posters, okay, and yang most important, you need to train their leaders, the managers, for example. Their leaders is the managers. If you have supervisors, then supervisors, right? Make sure that they enforce their team. They enforce, bukan paksa ni. Enforce means that adapt. Make sure their team adapt this. Okay, adapt this methods, adapt this culture. Okay, as a new culture. I believe the clean desk policy is already implemented, because you can remember that means that it is successful in some level, right? In some level. Probably there are some challenges, probably a little right? Okay, so that is the model that we want to follow. That is the model that we want to follow, and we want to replicate this for cybersecurity. Right? So that's training. Infrastructure upgrade, tadi kita cerita panjang pasal airport punya switch. Dia orang tak upgrade, jadi effect dia apa? Satu airport, thousands of people affected. Okay. Bukan 2-3 orang, thousands of people affected. Even bayangkan terpaksa buat announcement through radio and TV.
Yeah.
That's huge. Human assign skilled personnel to critical tasks. Okay, when you gather people, there are tasks that we need to settle, right? There are tasks that we need to settle. In our team, sometimes there are junior, they know nothing sometimes. In our team, there are experts, right? So we need to assign skilled personnel to critical tasks. Itu yang penting. Jadi, you jangan fikir skill ni pasal IT and cybersecurity saja. Something that we can handle. Other people, if we assign HR for example, HR know inside out about HR system, HRMS system. for example, right? We need to train them as well. We need to train them. We need to have them understand what is the risk and everything, and we need them know to handle at least the first level support. In the case of cybersecurity, not first level support yang I tak tahu nak login lah, not that thing lah. But in the case of cybersecurity, so similarly we have the department as well. That's how we leverage our small team of IT, okay, to work perfectly correct in adapting this. Sebab kalau nak cakap dengan 3 orang untuk implement ISO 27000 alone, matilah. Yes. So that's how we leverage. That's how we leverage. But we need to respect. They have other duties. They need to attend to. But we need to leverage things to them as well. Skill personnel, the critical task, technological, okay, investment in automation for repetitive tasks. Okay, I always tell my student, whenever you see something that is repetitive and doesn't require your experience, doesn't require your thinking, and doesn't require your emotion to decide, okay, then automate it. Simple example, virus scanning. To simple example lah. Of course, there are other things. That we can automate. Yang along the way, I probably cannot give example here. Tapi nantinya. Another example, allocate resource to protect customer data first, then focus on the internal system. This is more important, right? More important. Kalau customer data breach, being shared by others,
they can find fees.
yes, that's that.
Reputation.
Yeah, correct. What is this comprehensive study on risk allocations? Okay, there is a case study paper. MIT Sloan, they shared this. Okay, comprehensive study of cybersecurity and cybersecurity risk management of e-health system. Ini just bagi example e-health lah. Synthesis, analysis, and number and quantified approach. They are talking about quantified approach. It means that apa maksudnya? Dia quality approach, dia quantitative approach. Bila quantitative approach means that they assign a score for each. Macam kita panggil merit system lah. Merit system, meritocracy. Merit system. Kalau qualitative is more like feeling. Okay, it's more like feeling sebenarnya. Do you feel that this is good? Yes. But it doesn't mean that qualitative is not. Macam yang saya kata tadi lah, kenapa IP last time kenapa IP di Malaysia Airlines, nothing that we can quantize that, but it's just a feeling of experience. Why I like it. Okay, and I cannot even spell it out. I cannot even give a score to it. Right? It's just a preference. Right? Itu qualitative. Tapi quantitative is actually you really give a figure. Macam kita buat impact tadi lah. Daripada kita letak score dia kan. 4 steps to build a cybersecurity culture. Okay, it's 4 here. Tengok sini, cantik juga lah. Awareness fund kan. Kita buat satu poster. But this poster dia cerita pasal situation. Okay, every 39 seconds there is a new cyber attacks. 2,200 of new cyber attacks every day. 5% due other causes, 95% due human error. Apa tu? Cost of cybersecurity breaches means that human contribute the most. And ransomware frequency every 11 seconds in 2021. Okay. Frequency of ransomware 2031 every 2 seconds, estimated. And this is annual projected cost of cybercrime globally. Okay. Now 2034. This year is about 10 trillion. 10 trillion. That's huge. It won't go down basically. There is no such situation that we will be free from cybercrime. Jadi the first step is one is appoint a culture champion. I've been talking about culture champion. Appoint a culture, not multiple, many champions, but let them focus on their own domain. Right? Ensure this individual creates engaging campaigns. Engaging campaigns means that they just don't create strategy, okay? But they need to engage. In their strategy, there is something that they need to engage people. Whether in a training, whether in something informally, formally, up to them. We don't restrict, but let them propose things. Right? Strategies to drive behavioral change. Okay, focus on the change actually. This is change champion basically. Right? And simplify messaging. Okay, use terminology that resonate with employees. Roles and responsibility macam cakap tadi. We need to use a plain English. And eventually we try to insert the jargon slowly. Okay, if we start with the whole big jargon, it's like we talking Germans.
Wonderful.
Nobody understands. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Next is actually incorporate cybersecurity into evaluations. Means that evaluation of whatever is your performance, usually KPI. A lot of people practice KPI performance evaluations, right? Certain company they do 360 evaluations, right? So whatever types of evaluation there are, do that. Right? Tie secure behavior to formal assessment. Incentivizing means that provide incentive. Okay, provide incentive on good practice while addressing a poor one. Okay, we don't penalize the poor one, but what we address, we try to find the workaround or how to improve. Okay, prepare for incidents. Prepare for incident. Simulate potential breaches to ensure employees know how to respond effectively. So basically, building this requires commitment. Building the culture requires commitment, especially from the leader. So clear communication and accountability at all levels is important. So that's only how we can put this into place. Next is continuous improvement in cybersecurity. When we do things, we implement, okay, we train, okay, it's time for us to monitor, okay, as well as we improve. Right? It's always a circle of PDCA. You know what is PDCA, right? Plan, do, check, and check. Okay. And A is act, check, and act. Okay. So, adapting to a changing threat landscape means that cyber threats evolve rapidly. We need to understand that. It will evolve regardless of how complicated our systems are. They will try to adapt. Right? So, defenses must keep up. Defenses must keep up. You know, a bank, and they have mobile apps, or they have portal that we can log in to check our password, to check our balances, issue payments and everything. Do you know how many times they will attack a day?
think probably millions.
Minimum 100,000 per day. Okay. They even hire certified ethical hacker just to check. Okay. Not just lah. Those CEH. Okay. Will sit there forever to check and keep improving. And they cannot keep it one certified ethical hacker. They need to change the hacker. They need to change with different domain that they are experts in. Right? That's how critical it is, right? Because it is evolved rapidly. Because there are actions required. Actions here. First, we need to regularly update the policies. Doesn't mean that we put the policy today, it will apply for the next 10 years. Okay? As simple as today, we have AI policy, need to adapt AI. Okay? The next day, AI become generative AI. We need to adapt that. And just the next day, that generative become advanced generative, then we need to adapt again. Okay? So such way. Conducting periodic risk assessment. Risk assessment means that we define what frequency that we need to do a year. Is it once? Is it enough for once a year? Okay. When I say assessment, it doesn't mean that we need to engage external people to come in all the time. We can conduct internally. Okay. This time, use those champions as well. Okay. Send them for certifications. Let them become the expert. At least if they are non-technical, then certification for non-technical auditor or cybersecurity. For example, I do not know whether it is there. Okay, let them become the expert and let them auditors. Right? So this is risk assessment. So risk assessment is not just audit, it's about putting things into charts and prioritizing, right? Staying informed about emerging threats and technology, right? Need to always get an update. Yes, an update. Sometimes we go to a lot of tech website, they will give us prompt. Yeah, it annoys us sometimes. It annoys us, but it is important. Ada satu cara lagi. There is one way dekat apa? Biasa our Windows kan dia ada news kat bawah. Sana.
Oh yes.
You can customize that actually.
According to our needs.
Yes, customize that. Try to focus more on cybersecurity then.
Oh okay.
Okay. Focus more on cybersecurity. Let only the news of cybersecurity came out. Okay. And sometimes when we visit, for example, capacity website, McAfee or whatever it is, okay, jangan yang jenis selalu prompt your antivirus is outdated. That one is annoying. But the one that always give us news, okay, it is annoying. It is annoying, but those news is important, right? Example, adjusting policies for AI-based threat. This is just what I shared. Upgrading firewalls to handle advanced DDoS threat, for example, right? So this is what I mentioned that PDCA. Okay, we do a risk assessment, we do security monitoring, and we improve. Then PDCA, and then we improve. Yes, continuous improvement. So like I said earlier, what's consistent is change. We need to consistently change. Right? Yeah. This is one interesting case study. Okay, case study in cybersecurity in Finland. Okay, this is the summary of the case study. Let's see what are the case study first. I think I've shared this with you, right?
Yes. I think this is the one yang
Tajuk dia
Study.
strategic strategic case study in Finland or something like that. Actually, tajuk.
I remember they
Yeah, strategic leadership in cybersecurity case Finland. That's the title. Okay, this case study we are talking about
national cybersecurity.
yeah, national cybersecurity. So leadership. The abstract is about cybersecurity has become one of the biggest priorities in business accounts. So streamline, strengthening strategic leadership, a key aspect. Okay, we are talking about streamline, bring this strategic leadership to focus on this and making sure the cybersecurity vision is achieved. So they have established the cybersecurity visions here, right? And the strategic leadership of cybersecurity implies identifying, setting goals on the protection of digital operating environment. Means that the focus of this leadership is to set up a goal. Okay, set up a goal for whatever operating environment that they have. Okay, the digital operating environment. And it implies coordinating actions and preparedness as well as managing extensive disruptions. I won't go very detailed into this. We just have a quick glance on it. Okay, I want to go on the background. We are talking about objective of the research. This is the objective here. Okay, there are state level management. They are talking about general functional model for the leadership. Here there are this is just a crisis management. They draw a line there, where if state level it is monitored by parliament, right? So they are talking about competent ministry. Means the ministry need to be competent in this. Okay, so Prime Minister, government plenary session, President of the Republic and the Cabinet Committee and Foreign Security Committee will become part of the member, right? So they are talking these are person who may be affected in normal conditions, and this is disturbance in emergency conditions, like there are government situation center meeting of head preparedness and so on, right? So there is objective of this. I don't want to go through the objective. They interview how many people. This is not interesting, but let's go to the summary then. Where is my mouse? Okay. So the summary, integrating Finland approach to cybersecurity offer valuable insight into how strategic leadership can effectively integrates cyber defense into nation's overall cybersecurity posture. So by embedding cybersecurity within the national security strategy, so Finland ensured that all sectors understand their roles and responsibility in safeguarding digital infrastructure. Okay, the security strategy for society serves as a blueprint. Okay, so security strategy will become a blueprint of and outlining how different sectors should collaborate and respond to the cyber threats, thereby promoting a cohesive and coordinated defense mechanism. Okay.
I think the case study, this one they did a while ago, right? 2021. 2020.
Yeah, 2020, yeah, correct. 2020. But it's good because they bring this up to the
national
national level. And cross-sector collaboration is another cornerstone of Finland. Yeah. Cross-sector and cybersecurity strategy, recognizing that cyber threats do not respect organization boundary. Right? So, Finnish authorities have established framework. They created a framework that encourage robust partnership between governments, agencies, as well as private enterprises. And this collaboration enable effective information sharing, allowing for timely identification, sharing, and mitigation of threats. Moreover, pooling resources and expertise from various sectors enhance the nation's overall cyber defense capability, making it more resilient against attacks. So, of course, there are other things here. Strategic leadership in Finland is characterized by commitment to continuous improvement and adaptation. Finnish leaders understand that cyber threats landscape is dynamic. Okay. This proactive stance ensures that Finland remains prepared to counter emerging threats, maintaining a robust cybersecurity posture that protects its national interests. So, in summary, Finland model demonstrates the importance of integrating cybersecurity into national security strategies. So they put that into national strategies. And promoting cross-sector collaboration and exercising strategic leadership that prioritize adaptability and resilience. This element collectively contributes to a comprehensive and effective approach to national cybersecurity. So this is the case of Finland. The thing is, it is simple. If your country just keep underdog, then it is probably less likely to be attacked. Okay. But if your country try to be ahead than other people, chances of the activity and attack activity is more higher. You need to understand. People see Brunei is wealthy country.
I mean, from the external parties.
Yeah, we can see that Brunei is a wealthy country. Okay, they don't need other resources. They have enough oil and convert it into money. Then, okay, that's the perspective for people. Okay, so what makes Brunei vulnerable? Because they are healthy. Wealthy. Because they're wealthy. So people will think that Brunei having a lot. Majority of Brunei is having a lot of money in their pockets, so they want to scam it out of you or squeeze it out of you. Okay, so that makes your country vulnerable. Understanding cybersecurity assessment framework.
would like to start off the scenario. So the scenario is actually the ransomware attack to the critical system. So for the development first, so before the attack is happening, so we would like to create the policy SOP just to prepare for any kind of incidents. So for the life cycle of the IRP, incident response plan, so first we need to identify the issue or assets. So what does it mean? So for the system, we identify is the critical system.
Okay.
So what happened is the ransomware. The manpower at the time will be the IT manager and also technician to solve the issue. So we identify the manpower, and then in impact, the system cannot be used due to the ransomware, and also we need to inform to our management, maybe verbally or officially at the time.
Okay.
Then after that, we contain the second life cycle is containment. So we need to isolate the system from the organization network and basically block it, everything. So then we find the root cause and address at the same time. So moving to the third life cycle, which is the eradication. So we clean the system. It's either using the antivirus or checking the suspicious log, as we already find the root cause earlier. So then after that, before we proceed to recovery, we need to run the system in our testbed environment just to check any anomalies happen on the system itself. So once everything's done, clean, there's no anomalies, then we do the recovery phase, which is recover the system and publish to the user for their own use. Excuse me. Then the last life cycle is the post incidents, which is we lesson learned from it, and also we document all of the identify, containment, eradication, recovery, and so on. Then after that, we have a plan with the communication plan with the stakeholder. So we, for example, one of it, we create a distribution mailbox for all the stakeholder, and then inform them via email with the documentation that we have earlier on. And then after that, we start a meeting and we explain from earlier to the end, which is on the high level information. Then we also mention the feature improvement, threat awareness or threat awareness to the user, threat to the IT staff, update the instance response playbook or template as well, just to improve, enhance our instant response time overall. There's a lot of feature improvement as well. Maybe the system need to be vulnerability assessment once a month or maybe once a year, or do the penetration testing as well. So with that, I think we complete with our practical activity incident simulation.
Okay, great. I can see that you have learned a lot from our lesson.
Yes.
Okay. This has become, I think, almost perfect compared to the previous one.
Yeah.
Right. This is, you address a lot of things, the life cycle, okay, the policy, and then identifying the issues. Okay, identifying the issues, containment, eradication, recovery, communication plan. This is perfect, actually. This is perfect. Of course, there's some minor room for improvement, and the thing that I like to, probably because this is ransomware, right? So cleaning the system or anything probably just not required. But it's okay. But it's okay. I do understand that you put cleaning the system because of probably you seen this as a general.
Yes. I forgot about the ransomware.
Because the ransomware, no need to clean.
Recovery,
Detach. Okay. But the structure, I like the structure because you already have the structure now. So we have learned these 5 days.
Yes.
Okay, this must be your structure at all the time. Of course, this structure needs to still improve, but this must be the structure. Every time means that how do we start, how do we identify, how do we take action. This is the action part, but this is the planning part, this is the assessment part, this is the action. And this is the recovery, actually.
Okay.
I like to call this recovery. Okay, recovery in terms of reputation. Since we don't have much time, we let's proceed to the. Okay, this is reputational damage. Okay, reputational damage in cybersecurity, so it is very lengthy. I write it up. There is significant to the reputation cyber attacks such as incident compromise, destroy, brand damage, as well as reputation damage involved. Right? So understanding this, of course, we need to have a proactive measure. We cannot just wait and then we want to develop. Okay, and then again the effective communication, incident response and recovery and trust. Okay, you see your structure here. Okay, that cover all, right? That cover all. So this is proactive step to mitigate reputation risks. These are the steps. Of course, we start from this stakeholders. Number one, stakeholders engagement and communications, assessment planning, crisis preparedness, okay, ethical decisions, social responsibility, and sustainability, monitoring, listening, employee training and alignment, legal, regulatory, media relations, influencer management, and learning from past mistakes. Okay, these proactive step is actually a plan that you need to have a strategy as well as plan when to be prepared if this incident happens. Okay, you need to table this to your management, especially your CEO. He need to know this. He need to know your plan, how to engage in it, and up to him whether he want to pass this to which department. But you need to be accountable in certain part of it, right? So this is very important. I believe a reputational mitigations is not just IT responsibility, but it's not. I cannot say it is not IT responsibility. That's why I put the word "just" means that it is not just one team responsibility. It is a joint effort across functional department. Okay, this is CrowdStrike 2024. You remember when this happened?
Yes.
It's July 2024, right? July 2024, CrowdStrike happened. What happened? Suddenly, a lot of Windows system. It can be server, it can be flight information display I mentioned. It can be hospital, it can be a lot of things. Blue screen. Suddenly get blue screen. Okay. Previously, when we see blue screen, we just assume it is just hardware conflicts, okay, or hardware do not have enough resources, or hardware error. But now, the culprit is CrowdStrike. Okay, so you see the damage. 4.5 billion, 500 million, I don't want to go into detail. 7,000 NHS patient. NHS ni hospital punya tu kan, National Health Services in UK. Okay, 12.75 million of resources hours needed for IT team to fix the machines. Millions, not just 70 hours or 100 hours. 10 to 20% of financial losses. 30% of Japanese McDonald's store closed. I do not know. Is it really because CrowdStrike or they just it's just being boycott? but this is their facts. Okay, 30% is closed, and a lot more. Okay, they even offer voucher $10 to IT staff by CrowdStrike as an apology. Of course, some people say, "Come on, $10 nak beli apa?" but yes, to show their sincere apology. Of course, they cannot spend much. Takkan nak bagi $100 each to the 12.75 million hours tu, you divide by 8 hours each, berapa orang? So this is disaster, and this is big disaster. Is it affecting you?
Luckily, no.
No. I was lucky as well because we went for holiday during that time. The whole office The whole office went to Danau Toba in
Oh,
Sumatra
okay.
during that period. And then just like it doesn't affect us. It was 19 July. Technical detail root cause was identified, a flaw in content configuration updates. Right? So this is the global impact. These are the global impact. No need for us to go into detail. But the question is, how does CrowdStrike manage their reputation damage? Okay, there's not much people discussing this. People discussing the effect, the after effect. Okay, they like to talk negative about CrowdStrike. Okay, but even that happened, it's very big catastrophic incident happened. Okay, people still use CrowdStrike today, right? We do not want incident happen like the BP and Enron. People stop. BP close shop. Kan? It's a multi-billions company then close shop. Okay. CrowdStrike still around. It's been more than 6 months now, right? More than 6 months is still around. Okay. There are a lot of factors there. So this is strategy for reputation recovery from CrowdStrike. So what they did to rebuild their reputation, restore stakeholder trust, CrowdStrike has taken several strategic initiatives. One is transparency and accountability. Okay, the CEO even went to right, give an announcement admitting their wrong. Okay, and company conducted thorough root cause analysis on the incident. Thorough root cause analysis and share the finding to the public. This is what I mean. Transparent. Don't afraid to be transparent. Yep, people will say something bad. Okay, but being transparent, it demonstrates a commitment to transparency. Right? Enhanced security measures means that they need to make sure that public know that they have enhanced measure, as well as they teach people how to be prepared if this, God forbid, to happen again. Right? More rigorous testing protocols for the software updates, future occurrence. Right? And this is important to make sure that people keep understanding on the rollout and everything. This includes adopting a staggered rollout, allowing clients. Another emerging risk, which is IoT, blockchain, and cloud infrastructure. Right? I think cloud get familiar to us a lot because we use cloud a lot, right? But IoT and blockchain is quite new to some of us, even though the technology was there for a long time. The thing is probably it doesn't require us at this moment to utilize it. But we need to understand that there are security challenges, there are data privacy issues. Okay, this is part of the IoT challenges. Okay, of course, lacks of physical barrier, lacks of secure update system, weak or hard-coded passwords sometimes. Alright, insufficient privacy protection, insecure data storage, transfer, okay, insecure network. Because IoT is designed to be very small. Usually some of them have RAM around 512K, not even meg, K. We have 16 gig minimum, right?
Yeah.
They are talking about K now. Storage, their storage probably sometimes very small. Okay, 4 meg. I still remember masa I belajar dulu kan IBM PC XT if we get 4 meg hard disk, wow, that's great already. 4 megabyte hard disk, and then after that they release an 80 megabyte hard disk. Wow. during that time. So this is the challenges. Okay, we cannot ignore this because one day we are going to adapt this. And another regulatory challenges, the lack of standardized regulation. Okay, leads to inconsistent security practice, legal ambiguities, right? And next is the emerging of cloud infrastructure, right? Everybody are moving to clouds now, right? Issue here is actually misconfiguration can expose sensitive data. So kalau on-prem, we always have our physical network to cover us, right? Usually we have 1 or 2 channel that interface to internet. Okay, if anything problem, you just unplug that, safe. Okay. Now they do not have such unplug things. We do not know how to unplug that. So we cannot just simply, call them and shut it down. Do you know how to call Azure to shut it down? No, right? No. This is a big problem actually, big risk. Okay. Security consideration on shared responsibility, data breach can occur. Okay. Insider threats within cloud services as well. Right? And data sovereignty issues here is actually storing data across borders. Right? Across borders, it complicates the compliance in terms of law. Like in Brunei, they are PDPO, Malaysia PDPA, Europe is GDPR, for example, because it's about the same. People like to call it about the same, but there are some slight changes there. This is talking about personal data, but there are other regulatory. Okay, there are other regulatory that we need to consider as well. Right? I just give one example. I have one trainee, participant from four of them joined my class from Sudan. Okay, they need to take exam in Dubai because the exam material is not available in Sudan.
Oh, okay.
Because Sudan is a sanctioned country. Okay, this is some example on multiple country regulations. So every time they want to take certification of cybersecurity, for example, they will fly to any country that is allowed this exam to be taken. And their country not. It's quite sad.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is 3 pillars of sovereignty: data sovereignty, operational sovereignty, software sovereignty. So I'm talking about that as well. There are operational, certain things can be operated here but not there. Okay. There are certain because data, same. The one that we focused before was data, but we need to also understand this software and everything. Okay. Certain country, like like before, they give a big ban of Huawei, right? Huawei. So you cannot even have Google Play Store inside Huawei.
Yeah.
During that period, if you buy Huawei phone, and Huawei even release laptops, right? So that is part of the data sovereignty as well as this is hardware sovereignty as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Next is actually you need to consider on integrating cybersecurity into a strategic decision making, right? Integrating it. What to consider? First, we need to focus on executive responsibility. Okay, their responsibility more on cyber risk assessment, resource allocation, and policy. Okay, this is more on their responsibility. So on the cyber assessment, I think I don't need to go very detailed, but there are things that we need to evaluate how can it impact organization, okay, as well as other potential financial or operational. That's why the executive need to own this, right? And in terms of resource allocation, they cannot just pass this on your duty as head of IT, right? So they must own this as well. Ensure continuous funding is available. Budget needs to be allocated every year, right? And in the case of budget shortage, okay, in the case of budget shortage, there are certain crucial things cannot delay until next year sometimes. Right? This makes cybersecurity always special. Leverage automation to optimize resource utilization as well. And policy development, regularly review and update policy. This is important. Ensure policy address the compliance with relevant regulation and promote the culture of security awareness. Right? Okay, this is key developing a cybersecurity roadmap. Okay. When you came up with a proposal of cybersecurity initiative to the management, you need to come up with the roadmap. Okay, so kalau kita pergi interview ada tanya, how do you see yourself in 5 years? Right? It is the roadmap that we need to draw. We need to draw, similar to the cybersecurity as well. Right? So we need to draw a roadmap. What do we want to achieve today, tomorrow, next year, next 5 years? So the key step here is actually we need to maintain a clear objective. Right? Establish a clear objective and then focus on short term as well as long term. Right? Align the objective with mission and vision of the company. Do you know what is the mission of your company?
Yes.
Do you know the vision of your company? No need to explain.
Yeah.
But at least you know, right? You know, right? And set a measurable target to track the progress. Right? So conduct regular assessment, periodic evaluations on the security posture as well as incident response. So along that, then you can, on the roadmap, you can spell out the strategy, how you are going to achieve, as well as where do you want to go after that. And foster security conscious culture. I spell this a lot, awareness culture. Everything, make sure everybody adapts it and own it. Okay? Encourage collaboration between departments to address security and recognize and reward adherence to security protocols. Right? Leverage the emerging technology, AI, machine learning, and top automation streamline. This one need to be spelled out inside the roadmaps. Right? How do we adapt new emerging technology and establish response plan, incident response plan. Well, for that, final remarks. This is last page. As we conclude this, for the past 5 days, we have learned about 14 modules of cybersecurity. I hope this is enough. Of course, it is not all. I cannot cover 100%, but I hope this is enough for you to go back, okay, with certain of the practice that we have conducted. You have a lot of key takeaway that you can bring back to your company, and I do really appreciate your commitment here and your support in make this course, more lively by your response as well as your question. So I'm looking forward for you to implement and successfully have certification in whichever framework that you choose to or standard you choose to do. So thank you for the commitment to excellence security, commitment to excellence the security in your company. As well, let's move forward with confidence, knowing that together we can navigate the challenge ahead and become a secure environment for your organization. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Alright. Okay. But this is the end of the course. Right. There will be a questionnaire that you need to fill out. Let me get the people to assist you on this. Right.
Okay.